I've got 3 or 4 in mind, but how about I do a couple and then you can tell me if you want to hear more. A couple of favorites. One is rhyming and the other is not. And then there's a couple others I'm going to get to in a minute, but I'm going to start with self-inquiry, or self-inquiry, however you prefer to pronounce it. It's sort of a semi-humorous take on asking who am I and finding somewhat of an answer. I think I need to take these off to be better. Sometimes I am everything, and sometimes I'm just me. What inside decides to act, and what part lets it be? What part in me writes the poem, and what part of it reads? What part of me eats the food, and who is it that feeds? What part just sits idly by to radiate or shine, and who is it that reads these words, and who decides they're mine? Who that likes the melodrama? Who incurs the debts of karma? Who goes crying for his mama, and who that stays serene and calm? Who takes the body here and there and sees and tastes it all? Who knows that it is vastness? Who complains it's very small? Who decides it wants the food, and who reports that it is good? Who just sees the movie run but never is a critic? And whose mind is it anyway that gets so analytic? If no one is the watcher, the enjoyer, or the jerk, then who is it that tells him that he still needs lots of work? Who remains the silent one, not even as an I? And who decides to play, talk, interact, identify? The play's the thing when so inclined to catch the conscience of the mind. Who says, I know, it rang so true while sitting in satsang with you? Who says nothing, not a sound, is everywhere, formless, unbound? Who knows when there's no one home? Who watches all with glee? And who is it picks up the phone and says, hello, it's me? Silently together, or noisily alone, something sits inside to watch, and something writes the poem, and wonders just how it can be, the silent witness and the me, when the eyes are all just mirrors looking back at this one self. Who feels sometimes like a giant, sometimes like an elf? The paradox, identity. Who sees it all, and who's this me? The answer, known from deep within, I am, that's all, while you just spin. Your games and poems and movies and relationships galore, ripples passing one another, and waves lapping at the shore. Who knows interaction, who non-action, doing, being, human communication, divine perception, simply seeing. It's here, that's all. I am, unsaid. Behind the soul, eyes, mind, and head, it will be even when I'm dead. Eyes and minds and heart and head, the silent one just watching all that knows it's neither vast nor small. To whom do all these thoughts arise? That looks and sees me through these eyes and rests unchanged, not here nor there, nor even really anywhere. While all around, the world goes on and plays the game of here and gone, and me and you and I, and chooses to identify. I'll go to the non-rhyming one now. It's not exactly a poem. It's sort of what I imagine Lincoln and Jefferson got together in the afterlife, and they were fully enlightened beings and sort of channeled this through me together. It's called the Conscious Constitution, or the Declaration of the United States of Consciousness. 80 and a millennia ago, me, the awareness of the conscious states, in order to form a more perfect union, embarked upon a journey and set forth upon this planet a new incarnation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all sentients are created equal, and that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, and that among these are life everlasting, liberty from the cycle of births and deaths, and the pursuit of supreme happiness. And whenever any state or condition arises that threatens to thwart these rights, that their goal shall be pursued through sadhana, or dedicated spiritually oriented practice of some kind, and the adoption of an attitude of compassion to ourselves and our posterity, our fellows, brothers and sisters on this material plane, and in the recognition that all beings are somewhere along this continuum of this endless cycle, inhabiting the place where we have been, just were, or would still be without the grace of God, the creative and sustaining force, and that in this interrelating process, any one of us may at some point rise to the level of vision from which he or she could see that all of us, simultaneously and without distinction, are participating fully in this game of being, from one or more of the infinite varieties or conditions in which this self-same awareness may find itself at any given moment. And that to deny these rights to the illusion of others is to deny an aspect of our own condition, equally existent but ultimately unreal, vibrating at just another frequency of the evolutionary expression that spreads across the spectrum of manifestation, from dreams to subjectively solid existence, through all the endless combinations and interdependent constellations of experience and relativity ranging through the universe as they arise, move, act, and interact as the individuals we generally agree that we are and perceive ourselves to be. And if for any reason whatsoever an individual shall deny these truths, that aspect of being shall be limited to the perception of separateness to that extent to which he or she believes it to be so. And for the duration of that belief and its interdependent substrata of conscious and unconscious thought and action, and for however long it takes for the unfolding events of that being's set of lives and circumstances to come to a resolution of these limiting beliefs, and to once again embrace the reality that we are all one, indivisible and everlasting, and shall not perish from the heavens and the earth. That's my favorite. Now this next one is, so if you want to hear the next one, I said I would ask after two. So
if we, like tomorrow, if we could meet up on Broadway, we could do that there. We could say we saw Reverend Larry on Broadway.
Well, Broadway Astoria maybe, if you want to come to my neighborhood.
Yeah.
So do you want to hear another?
Yeah.
Okay. Now this next one, it can either be a ballad if I sing it a cappella, or it can just be a poem. It was originally written as a poem, so
Sing it.
sing it? Is that consensus? I'm sorry?
You're the artist, how should it be delivered?
Well, better with musical accompaniment, but I don't have that, so I'm giving you the choice.
We have kazoo.
Sing.
Yeah, but you have to know the melody to do the kazoo.
Sing.
Do you have the chords? Do you have the chords for it? Everybody-
If you can kind of wing it and jump in, it's sort of in a minor key, but I don't have anything for
Well,
it.
maybe, so
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm going to start, and if my voice doesn't hold out, I may just switch out and recite. It's called a Lelands Odyssey. Now, anyone who doesn't know the yogic term, a Leela is a sport or a play of the divine. It's like everything that's going on, everything we worry about, it's all just a Leela, because in the end, it's all going to be all right. But we go through what we go through. And this is a love story, a love ballad for soulmates who've been doing this dance, this Leela, for a very long time. Surrounded by a circle of time, two loving souls stepped up to their line. They'd known each other in a time before, but their love uncompleted, they returned for more. Married through time in multiples of space, running homeward, treading Maya's delusional pace. Deep within them imprinted what miles to trod, magnetized for approach together towards God. Yet ever along on their mystical flight, Maya's steeds come undaunted, distorting their light, one after another at gallop or trot, telling each of our lovers they are something they're not. Through lifetimes and death times they've been chained by this bind. Karma's made in one realm to be made up in kind. Now they're merging in space. Now they first see the linkage amidst bodies and minds and sensations and thinkage. Yet onward they race toward the Lord of their quest, tripping or running through test after test, at times overwhelmed by the struggles and pains. They lose sight of their love, they lose hold of the reins. They feel lost, disconnected, like two severed entities. In the tangled mane of Maya lies their divine identity. Yet where miracles are commonplace, at the source of each soul sits the Heavenly Father, the Mother, the goal, saying, "Come unto me, though you dance as you do. Through my Leelas, my games, I'm still pulling you through. Through the detours and pitfalls, through the miles to trod, walk two souls ever matched towards their matchmaker.